Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching this mayhem around the world. My name is Jeremy Scott. Charles Bochelle is alongside, and Omed is back in the truck eating all those cheese curds. Hopefully they don't get all the keys all dirty, because those things, the panko crumbs like to get all over the place and mess up the sliders and the buttons for all sorts of good stuff here at Road America. You're watching qualifying for the SUPERLAP MX5 Cup from Road America here on Apex Racing TV. I forgot where I'm at. I need to take a look at everywhere I've been. Charles, you know as well as I do, this is absolutely a fantastic venue, and we're going to see some great racing here from Road America.
Yeah, Jeremy, love Road America, one of my favorite tracks, both as a spectator, commentator, and as a driver. I love driving the scores as well. Yeah, these MX5 cars around here, it's gonna be kind of not necessarily a tale of two tracks, but it's definitely a lot of drafting that's going to go on here, especially down in turn 5. Then we're going to get a technical section that is going to kind of test the drivers a bit. Turn 6 is particularly tricky, as we have a car beached himself in the gravel trap. And then obviously once we get back, there's some high stakes as we get our way out of the carousel through the kink into Canada Corner to finish off the lap. So yeah, really looking forward to this. Already qualifying, just ending up. Looks like we've got Ari Reuter going to take the pole again this week. So another great run by Reuter, and Goff just behind, only 300ths of a second. So you can see the lap times are pretty consistent, pretty tight throughout the field, and it's going to make for some really great racing tonight.
I think that might have been Goff who was in the wall there at turn 3, and indeed that is, as we're watching Ethan Armbruster make his way around. He's got Saka ahead of him in the amateur class. Let's see what happens coming down into Canada Corner. Nice and deep, and a little bit of a wiggle there out of the 13 as he runs wide into the gravel trap, and that's going to be a lap over as he goes head on into the wall, and you definitely don't want to do that there through Canada.
No, absolutely don't. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the amateurs do. This is one of those tracks where an amateur can run really well as long as they just minimize their mistakes. You don't want to just run off the track wide. You can use the draft of the pro cars and the other AMs in front to keep yourself in touch with a lead group. And as long as you minimize those mistakes, you're going to end up with a really good race result tonight. So it's going to be interesting to watch both classes tonight as they go through, as we're on board here, just coming out of the carousel, heading down to the kink. This is, to me, a no passing zone. Somebody will try it tonight, and let's hope that it goes well. It's just a high risk, high reward. If you make it work, it's going to be fantastic for your positioning. However, the error rate is just so high through the kink, trying to go too wide through there. It's just such a narrow corridor. You have to have just the right line coming through, and two just almost won't get through there.
As Devereaux decides to think better of trying to qualify here, as Sean Gibson gets a slowdown penalty. His qualifying session is done. Fastest he's done. Rodney Gibson in the SuperLap double aught 6, 35.738, the best that he can do. And not sure why his time's still going. His qualifying is indeed over. We've got to switch things over to the a little bit of a drift there. Got to switch things over to our warm-up session here in just a little bit. And even if Rodney Gibson wasn't trying to log a time, it'll be session over for him. So now that all cars are off the circuit, we're about ready to get set for the final practice, the warm-up session, which sets us up for the race later on this evening. Of course, we want to thank SuperLap for being a sponsor here of the SuperLap MX5, the SuperLap F4 Rennsport Championships, located on the world-renowned Woodward Avenue in Berkeley, Michigan. SUPERLAP is a sim drive studio space to meet and compete with professional-grade racing simulators. They are a premier racing and drive experience venue. They will help you achieve your motorsports goals in education, practice, and training. Many of your favorite racers use a sim. Why shouldn't you? You can race and practice against an AI roster, go head-to-head with other humans, or both. They also offer league play like the DRSCCA League. Go to superlap.world for details. And something that I stumbled across, Charles, I don't know if you had a chance to see it. I threw it in our in-race chat, but they are starting to do driver profiles, to say the least, and one of them is our friend Archie Woods.
Yeah, did watch that video. Very cool. It's nice to see Archie just getting started in sim racing. He was driving at home and he found SUPERLAP online and said, I need to check this place out, and just kind of went over there and started learning, and has been racing inside the studio. So, it's a good place. And he was, talking about getting the opportunity to maybe move out of the sim and into a real car. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We've got some very, very nice success stories of drivers that have done just that thing. So, yeah, good luck to Archie, and as he progresses in his sim racing career, and hopefully that turns into a racing career.
The qualifying results on there. We'll go over those in just a little bit, but Ari Reuter, you're fastest in practice, qualifying. We're out of practice now. This is the final practice, the warm-up session, 10 minutes to get drivers ready for this next session. And it's amazing how fast Archie has become a very quick driver. He's not in the field tonight, but I like how he mentioned, I've got a wheel at home, I've got pedals at home, but I like coming here because I've got a motion rig and I can actually feel the race car. And that is a great development step to get in a seat, because I know that there are a lot more leagues out there that have that utilize sim racing as a step up. So you're not wasting money, you're not wasting equipment, you're out there, you're learning the car, you're feeling the car. And that was also a discussion point today in the Detroit Region SCCA Discord, because they were talking about Jimmy Broadbent saying, hey, he came out with the video talking about, can you go from sim to real life racing? Well, I'm proof you can go from real life announcing to sim announcing. Let's see if I can get back there, but that's besides the point. And I think it was it Lincoln Olson that was saying, oh yeah, I took my S2000 to Summit Point and I was faster. And I never used Summit Point on the sim. So the proof is in the pudding that while it's not a substitute, it helps you improve.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and it's what you are doing is you are building muscle memory. So when you get that feedback through the steering wheel, you're learning how to approach that and to make adjustments, and to learn how to drive a line properly, how to take a corner and eyeball that, get your speed right, work your pedals appropriately. So yeah, you're getting a lot of good experience from driving a car just by getting in the rig and sim racing. I mean, it's very much the same. It's not quite as, it's probably one of the few that you actually can do. I guess you could go to a golf range, indoor range, and hit golf balls into a mat and simulates that, but you are hitting a golf ball. So, it's one of those things, as we see Lincoln Olson doing a very inventive racing line there through turn 5. So yeah, it's everything helps, and getting that muscle memory is a big key to getting a bit faster in a car.
Is this like the equivalent of the commentator's curse, even though now he's just doing it to himself? By the way, he was your winner Tuesday night in the F4 League at Summit Point. So there's Sean Fritz in the number 19 going uphill, coming off of turn 5 and turn 6. By the way, did you get a chance to watch any of the IMSA MX5 Cup race earlier today?
No, unfortunately, I have a full-time job.
What's that?
That doesn't allow me always to pop open a race broadcast. I had a lot of meetings today, unfortunately, so did not get a chance. I will go back and watch it because the MX5s at Daytona is some of the best racing you're ever going to see. These guys are absolutely amazing. I shouldn't say guys, I should say these drivers are absolutely amazing in these cars. And Daytona is like their Super Bowl, and they perform incredibly well during those races. There's going to be some shenanigans, I'm sure. I will expect to see a couple, especially down into turn one as they go in 6 wide. And of course, I think they've got another race tomorrow. Is that right? So race one tomorrow morning, race 2 tomorrow. So hopefully I'll get a chance to watch both of those. But yeah, it's the MX-5s at Daytona are absolutely fantastic. So that's a must-see view sometime this weekend.
Yeah, that's one reason why I'm upset I'm not down at Daytona this weekend. The other is obviously it's the Rolex 24. However, I will say this. We do have a SUPERLAP driver in there, Woody Heineman, who is in another season of MX-5 running for Jared Thomas, JTR, Motorsports Engineering. Jared Thomas has a great team there. I think they've got 8 cars. I know at least one of my buddies was racing there. I didn't get to see where he ended up, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's like my wife and I were watching it in the iPad. We're getting our snacks and stuff ready for the Rolex 24 for this weekend. We usually try and stay up as long as we can. We'll set the heat up, so we can feel like we're there. But we're watching on my iPad, and there were times where they were fixing to get bent, and I look at my wife and I'm like, I bet you a few of their chaps are still pretty hide from, or their hides are chapped from last year. You have the race director chew them out for wrecking it on the start-finish line last year.
Yeah, probably so. But I saw them. Was it a couple of years ago? I was watching one that we had connections with a couple of the drivers that ran a league that I was doing some broadcasting for, and they came in on the final lap, and they came through the Western Horseshoe, and he was running in P9th, and then I think he finished second in that race. So by the time he got back to the start-finish line, but it was just an incredible race. These cars race incredibly well there at Daytona, and they're going to do the same thing here tonight. It's not probably won't be nip and tuck as the pros are, but we're going to get some good racing out of these drivers tonight here at Road America. And I think the other reason you were wishing you were there is because it's sunny and 72, as opposed to where it is where you are.
So yeah, exactly. We're under a excessive cold warning here in the Chicagoland area. So I know a lot of the country is affected by this cold weather and this winter weather. So please, this weekend, watch the Rolex 24 Michelin Pilot Challenge is also tomorrow. It's a 4-hour race, so definitely you have no reason not to stay in. I do remember we love the MX-5 Cup race. I used to help call the MX-5 Cup races when they were here at Road America before IndyCar Radio took it over, and then subsequently IMSA Radio. But when we went 2 years ago, I told everybody in my group, we've got to be there at least for one of the MX-5 Cup races. And it was that Friday one where Fritz is not going to have a good day if he keeps setting up at the wall. Or Olson's not going to have a good day if he keeps setting up at the wall. It's the second time this warm-up session, so that'll be interesting. Anyway, here's Ahmed Beydoun coming down into turn 5. But back to my point, that was the one where the Wheelan car, the Wheelan MX-5, I forget who was in it, but just got bumped and spun and ended up in the apron back on the racetrack. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, we're going to see a big crash. And thankfully we didn't. But that's what happens in those tight packs. You just never know.
Yeah, you never know. It's one person with a tiny mistake, either of their even it's their fault, or it's maybe they're forced into a line that they probably shouldn't be on. You catch a curb wrong, and the next thing you know, you've got 7 cars sideways, flipping upside down, bouncing off of walls. So it's just the nature of the racing here, and especially with these cars, they punch such a big hole in the air. It's really easy for the cars behind to just kind of maintain the gap and keep the packs pretty tight. It takes a mistake to kind of break these cars up. So we hope that the mistakes are few tonight, because we'd love to see a nice 7 or 8 car pack up at the front coming down to the last couple of laps here.
Rodney Gibson coming down through Kettle Bottoms into Canada corner, as we are just about set for the warm-up to end. And yeah, here's the thing. I'm not too worried about the race because it's going to take a lot for these drivers to separate and try not to find each other, because these cars are so evenly matched. It doesn't matter if it's a fixed setup or an open setup. These cars are just locked in together. And I think if for a lot of these drivers, it's especially in the Pro MX-5s, it's the first time they actually have to deal with the draft, unless they spent a lot of time at Spec Miata and a lot of time here at Road America, because you're stuck in the draft no matter where you go. And that does it for the warm-up session. Andrew Mowat, your fastest with a 32.833. Time to set the grid for today's 30-minute feature race, and it's Ari Reuter and Ryan Goff in row 1. Andrew Mowat and Chris Murray make up row 2. Brennan Latta and Sean Fritz row 3. It's all AMs all the time in row 4. Hayden Sawka and Ethan Armbruster. Mike Schmidt and Zane Cross round out your top 10. And Charles, we've got Richard Scheib and Ahmed Beydoun.
Yep, that rounds out your first page. 13th is going to be Chad Geidel. Shea Devereaux starting in 14th. Alex Reuter starting in 15th. David Grzinski is 16th. 17th is Corey Gardner. Tom Salmon starting in 18th. Rodney Gibson starting in 19th. Abdul Huda starting in 20th. Drew Leonard starting in 21st. Lincoln Olsen starting in 22nd. And Austin Jackson rounding out your 23-car grid tonight.
And 23 cars light, but then again, I know a lot of people are down at Daytona this weekend, so no surprise here. I know in one of the other races, I kind of coaxed one of my drivers. I'm like, guys, bring the wheel, bring the pedals. I'm sure nobody will blink an eye if you decide to just whip out your laptop and race. Or now I think somebody's made a force feedback actual controller that has a wheel in the middle and pedals on the hands, and it's all sorts of neat.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I'll have to check that out. So yeah, it's Daytona is a big deal in the racing community. It is the what they say is the Super Bowl, both for NASCAR and for IMSA. It's the one of the biggest events of the year, if not the biggest here in the United States. So it's I'm sure there's lots of people that have traveled down. If you're coming from the Detroit region, you're probably really, really excited to be in Daytona, Florida, and not Detroit, Michigan. If nothing else, is you won't be a popsicle while you're up there. So yeah, it's probably good that they're there. But we got a nice grid tonight, and it's going to be some really fantastic racing, as we've got the 5-car there of Golf kind of working his way in and out of the pace car, just for a little bit of fun before we get this race underway.
Waterford Hills Road Racing is Metro Detroit's only permanent sanctioned road course. Located in Clarkston, Michigan, Waterford Hills hosts 6 race weekends a year, competition driving school, and 9 public open track days. The track goes hot from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is open to the public. A nominal $5 entry fee is all it takes to get you close to the action. Check out waterfordhills.com for details. And thank you to the Michigan Tour Marshals for their support. If you want to get close to the action, be sure to check out michigantourmarshals.org. They can train you to support races like the Detroit Grand Prix. I just got word that we will not be in Detroit for the Grand Prix because with my schedule finally coming to fruition, we will be able to go to the big endurance race at Road America. So I'm really excited about that. That was high on my list of races I wanted to get to this year. So really excited about that. So now I got to get the campsite reserved. Pace car rolling around turn number 7. Charles, like you said, I think it's just going to be a draft pack with everybody working together. You got 30 minutes to get up to the front. How are you going to do it?
Yeah, it's patience. You don't have to do it you don't win the race in turn 1 of lap 1, but you can absolutely lose it there. Patience will be the name of the game. Is just staying in that lead group. You don't have to make a lot of moves. You just have to make sure that you're keeping your race car clean and you're keeping it on the gray stuff, as you like to say, and you're going to end up with a good result. But you've got to be patient. You've got to be consistent, and you got to make the right moves at the right time. So it's just one of those as we get around here, and you just want to make sure that everything is good to go. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is patience. Patience and consistency tonight is going to get you up to the front of this field, and you can pick your time to make your moves.
Last time you and I were here was for the season opening round of the SUPERLAP F4 Thursday Championship. Yeah, that was a little destructive. I have a feeling that this should be a little bit better.
Yeah, these cars are going to be able to take a little more damage than the F4 car. Obviously, you know, wheel-to-wheel contact in those cars, and you basically broken your suspension. For these, you know, they can do a little leaning on each other. You may even see some bump drafting during the course of this on these straightaways, which will definitely help your lap average as we're going. But yeah, the bumping will be okay as long as it's as long as we're not T-boning anybody going through a corner. I think we're going to be good to go as coming around the last corner, getting ready to get this race started.
4 miles is one lap here around the Kettle Moraine Valley, as the pace car will pull off and take the long jaunt up to pit road, and indeed it does. Goff and Reuter on the front row. Ari Reuter, your fastest driver. They make the turn uphill, and they'll take a look at the starter. It's time to go zoom, zoom, zoom at the National Park of Speed. We're green as we're side by side coming down that long front straightaway. Now they'll hit the top of the racetrack and make their way down through turn number 1 all the way to darn near the lowest point of the racetrack, which is actually, that's going to be Canada Corner, but still all side by side. No surprise that we're in one big group. Not yet 3 wide, but some drivers trying it. As Goff's going to look to the outside. Not going to make anything happen so far, but that big pack looking pretty good as Reuter will go take the racing line, but Goff will shut the door on him through turn 3.
Yeah, I just saw a spin about mid-pack. So we had a car go around. We'll have to see who that was. Might have been Huda. Nope, it's not Huda. It might have.
I think it was Lincoln Olson.
It was. Yeah, it might have been Lincoln Olson. But anyway, spun coming down into turn 3. But otherwise, very clean start. 2 wide's fine. 3 wide, yeah, a little iffy. But they did a very, very patient start and just kept it 2 wide as we're going to replay here. Yeah, just Lincoln Olson tried to make a move down to the inside. Did not realize there was a car already there, and gets spun around, but ends up in the gravel trap, is able to get back into this. And it'll take him a little time, but I think he's got enough pace in the car that he can catch back up to the back of the field and then just use the draft to work his way forward.
Absolutely love seeing these cars now go single file. There is Lincoln Olson about 11 seconds back. If he can find somebody to draft off him. Of course, Huda and Jackson both coming out of the pits. If they can catch up to the back of Lincoln Olson, which shouldn't be too hard, I think we're going to see them latch onto the back, and once he gets there, I think that's where it's going to be. Now you see Huda and Jackson 1 to 2 laps down. Remember, it's going to take a lap or 2 for iRacing timing to catch up to note that they are actually on the same lap as your leaders. Well, Chris Murray's going to try and see if he can go up 1 spot over the pole sitter as Ryan Goff has 1 car off and a couple cars off, a little wide coming out of the kink, but still starting to fan out through 11A and 11B as Goff, he's got a 6 to 7 car length gap, and that's kind of untenable when it comes to these cars because they're going to suck them right within each other and bring them back into the fold.
Yeah, I mean, Reuter picked up 3/10 just between the exit of the carousel to the entrance of Canada Corner. So you need at least 1 second over the car behind in order to kind of break that draft up. So as long as they keep it within that 1 second, once we get on these straightaways, you'll see those times shrink in between those cars. So it'll be you think you're getting away, but you're actually not. And Olson has caught up. He's only 6/10 behind Gordon there. So he's caught to the back of the field now. So he should just start working. He should be able to work his way up. Huda and Jackson as well. Once they get that, they'll come into that as well, as these cars just have a tendency to just kind of hold themselves together. See a little bit of a gap there between P5 Sean Fritz and P6 Brennan Ladd. It's still 9/10. But we'll see if these cars in front start doing a little bit of battling, that gap comes down even quicker as 2 cars cannot go through the corner as quickly as 1. So we'll be watching for that as well, but it looks like that gap's already starting to come back down.
Yeah, it really is. And now that 5-car lead pack is an 11-car lead pack with Ahmed Beydoun, the caboose in that pack, and Richard Scheib up there in 12th, the leader of the second pack, as Lada is up 1 spot over Cross and working his way through. There's Roy, of course, Reuter, the other Reuter, is up to 17th, but still This is a little bit of thinking man's racing. You've got 30 minutes to get around Road America, so it's a matter of trying to plan your spot of where you want to make your pass and win. You can't go for it like you do other places. In a couple, that's a tap with Armbruster Schmidt, and there we go. 2-3 cars involved. One car has his hood up once again, and talk about when one car gets in trouble, a whole heap of others will be collateral damage.
Yeah, there's Salka off. Do you see the damage on the front of his car? He's just kind of hanging on to the edge of the racetrack, trying to get the car around. Obviously, big hole in the front of his car, and he's punching an even bigger hole in the air with that damage on the car. So he's just trying to keep it off the racing line and let everybody go through. Very good sportsmanship there as he's working his way through. It's a little tight there, and that's the 13 car getting through just barely as Ethan Armbruster there just hanging on. That's the 79 car of Richard Shabe is on board here in the P8, and that has created that gap that I was talking about before the race started. You got a good spin or a spin from one of the cars, caused a little bit of calamity, and now you've got a 4-second plus gap between Latta and Devereaux in 7th.
And now we're talking about what you're going to see a lot of here tonight. The front bumper on the rear bumper. And even look at, you get a nice view of the front assembly of Ari Reuter's MX-5. They actually look pretty good through there as Ryan Goff able to open up a little bit more of a gap. So that magnet effect not really working for Ari so far, as you're seeing Alex Reuter try and make his way up through the top 10. Drew Leonard with a quick off and on. He's back underway as Lincoln Olsen making his way up to 13th after that incident. And here's the thing. I think Lincoln's in a good spot to make his way into the top 10, if not the top 5, because you're going to see, like we said, there's a spin, there's a crash. It's Grodzinski and Leonard involved in it. Oh, man. I wish I wouldn't have said, this is going to be different than F4s, because really, to be frank, it's not. Let's see what happens. And it looks like, I think Leonard goes off and just shoots across.
Yeah, Leonard came off the track to the right and just tried to rejoin, and maybe lost the rear there and just spun the car, and it just came straight back across the track. Nowhere for the other car to go. Grodzinski and bang. And that's both cars who have now got meatball flags and have both towed back to the pits. So they're going to have to reset and try that again, and try and get back out and see if they can get some positions through attrition here. Just try and get a few more points before the race is over with. Only 7 minutes into this 30-minute race.
Salmon with a spin, and they're back underway. But remember, a tow back to the pits means your race is over, so no more. So
that's right.
Grodzinski and Leonard will finish 21st and 22nd. Jackson is out of the race as well. Austin Jackson is after his melee. So 3 cars out already and a whole heap of bent up race cars. Brennan Latta, fastest lap of the race so far, 33.465. I have a feeling we're going to get about 16 laps of racing in here as we will come up and get lap number 4 started in just a little bit. Ryan Goff still your leader with Ari Reuter second place. Chris Murray sitting in third place. There's the lead pack coming up the hill to the start-finish line. And it's amazing how you go from Canada Corner, the lowest point in the racetrack, all the way to start finish, the highest point, and you're climbing from turn 12 all the way to about start finish.
Yeah, it is a great, it's kind of hidden elevation. Don't really think about elevation when you're thinking about Road America, but there's enough there that makes it challenging, makes it even more challenging than the speed that you're going to create does. So we've got now a nice 6-car pack up at the front. We've got another 5-car pack or so here. This is our second group, starting with Devereaux in 7th through Shaib, Geidel, Smith, and Baydoun.
Gordonier spun off in 3.
Nope, we got another spinner off in 3. Gordonier is what I'm here, is what Jeremy's saying. We're going to get a replay here, and we'll work this down. And this is
the first incident.
Okay. Here's our first incident. This is a 20-car salmon. Yeah, and just everybody gets through there. I think I saw a little tap there as he gets that back around. And then we've got Gordon Neer coming down, and this is into turn 3. And just, oh, wow. That's Gibson on the inside line there, tries to find his way through, and Gordon Neer turns in on him just a little bit, but I think it's just racing contact. That's going to happen a lot here. As you leave the door open and somebody else try and step through it. That's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah, that was incidental contact, and Mowat with a big off track as he's going to go agricultural coming off of the carousel headed towards the kink. He's able to get back in, but tail end Charlie of this lead pack, which has Ryan Goff, Ari Reuter, Chris Murray, Sean Fritz, Brennan Lotta involved, and Mowat's fallen back a lot now. So it's only a matter of time until the second group catches up to him with Shea Devereaux at the head of that. You're on board with Sean Fritz working his way around Canada corner as he's sitting there in 4th place. And Devereaux and Scheib, I should say, they're battling for 7th place. Olsen and Schmidt also battling. And now I think we're at the point with a third of the race in. I'm not sure that second pack can really catch up to this lead pack, barring some sort of catastrophe with one of the 6 up front.
No, it's going to take, not necessarily catastrophe, but they're going to have to start doing a lot more battling than they've done here for the first 10 minutes of this race. They've done pretty well to just kind of stay in line and just kind of keep things going with this head to toe here. Once they start getting into this last 10 minutes, when they start actually racing, they start fighting through corners side by side. That's going to allow that second group, especially Mowat, that's only a second and a half or so off of them. He'll jump right back up there with the quickness, and then that second group will start picking up half seconds at a chunk, and we'll be able to make it up. Now, whether they can make up 8 seconds or not, I have no idea, but they've got to also do the same thing, is stay in line, don't fight through corners. If we see Scheib and Devereaux now, Scheib taking that position, so taking over P7, getting by Devereaux, and the more they fight, the further back they're going to fall, and that's going to bring some more cars behind. And thinking about Reuter and Cross and Gibson are the next group to start working their way into this pack.
It's going to be interesting to see if everybody can hook up and leave one another or whatnot, because, yeah, you got the Scheib, Devereaux, Bay-Doom group. Then you got Olsen, Schmidt, and Geidel as well. And it was interesting during the coverage today hearing John Heinhaw talk about Pelotons with MX5 Cup cars.
Yep.
I don't know if I would call them Pelotons because, as Lincoln Olsen slips just a little bit coming off of turn number 8, Pelotons at least stay somewhat organized. These drivers, no. Good thought, but no.
Yeah, I completely understand the reference. And for those that don't, he's talking about cycling racing, the Tour de France, to be more specific. Where the main group is called the Peloton. In our situation here, we'd have the front 5 would be the breakaway pack, and then you'd have the Peloton would be the big group starting with P7, running all the way down to about P17, where they're all loosely connected in one big wad, although they're really not here. So it would have to be one of those where they're 4 wide, 3 deep. For 10 laps or so before we would want to call it that. But I completely understand the reference and what he was trying to say, though.
And besides, you start using verbiage like off the back, and that's when you get drivers pissed off at you, and we just won't go into that. We'll just call them groups. As this Goff group, this Goff train, I should say, still looking pretty good. Now Goff and Reuter trying to open up a gap between themselves and Chris Murray so they can start racing a little bit later on. We're near halfway in this race, and Goff trying to do all he can to keep Ari Reuter behind him. Still nose to tail coming off of turn number 3.
Yeah, they're really trying hard to kind of get broken from that second group there, starting with P3 with Murray, Fritz, Latta, and Mowat, who's kind of pulled back onto the back of that group. So now you've got the 2 plus the 4 and they're doing their best to try and just use as anything they can do, bump drafting, just pushing each other up and down the track, just trying to see if they can get away. If they can break the draft, it's going to be tough for that second group to make up the time until they start battling. And the battle is coming. It's just not here yet, but there will be a battle for the lead before this race is over.
Yeah, whether it's going to be these two in that battle or Murray or Fritz who decide to get they want a part in this, that remains to be seen, Andrew. Mowood comes by with the fastest lap of the race, 33.067. So still, these tires are running quite nicely. Only 3 cars out, though. Knock on wood, we keep it that way because it's been a little crazy at some points, but for the most part, these drivers are hanging nice and tough as you're looking, you're looking at a group that decides that they want to get away from the rest of the pack and run in single file.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been the key to it, right? Is they're running, deciding they're going to not really do any fighting at this point in time, and they just keep extending that gap. Moed now back up to the end of this 6-car pack, and they've just continually growing that gap back to P7. It's now up to about 12 seconds to Shaib, who's 13.3 back of the leader. So they've done exactly what they're needed to do. Is the further they pull that, the more they can race at the end without the fear of adding another 4 or 5 cars to the battle. So that's the whole game plan, and whether they're intentionally doing it or not, as we now see a move for the lead of the race. Reuter going to the front. He has the lead. Is he going to be able to get this car stuck around before they get into turn 1?
They're still side by side. Now we're 3 wide for second place in Goff, Fritz, and Murray. And Murray's going to use discretion to bear part of Val, and they're rubbing off each other going through turn number 1. And still side by side for Goff and Fritz. But Fritz has the war-torn MX-5 through there. As now they decide to go single file through turn 3. Smart to do. Although Moed going to sit there and fall back in line just a little bit, as still jockeying for position. I think now they realize that they're far enough away from that second group to where they can actually try and either make something happen or just decide to slice and dice for this final half of the race.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. It's starting to heat. Things are starting to heat up as we're on board now with that second pack. Shaib, Olsen, Beydoun, Devereaux, who is now dropped down, is now battling for P9. With Beydoun, you see Schmidt and Geidel just off the back of that as we have a slow car, and that is trying to catch a number 19. That's the 19 car of sorry,
is
trying
it
to
19
find the
or is it 15?
I thought when they went by, I thought it was 19.
It is 19.
But, yeah. So.
So that's Fritz. So Fritz is
Fritz
developing some sort of issue. Yeah, he's fallen off big time and lost that first group. So that 6-car battle is now a 5-car battle. We have a replay here as he goes to the, let's see. It's the outside. So he loses it there and just, kills so much time trying to get back going. Decides to drive in the gravel trap. And at least he doesn't do what you see most racers do through there, is end up going wall to wall Austin Powers style. However, it is tough to get that car started going uphill.
It really is, and it's really easy to crank a lot of steering in and just light the rear tires up as you're trying to get that car. And as soon as you do that, you're basically doing a donut in the middle of the track, because those tires, once they start spinning, real easy to overheat, and it's really tough to get those things back down in the right operating temp. So he did a good job to get that car rejoined successfully and safely. But however, he is now down in P8, so he's now in that second group. So now we've got a 7-car group here and a 5-car group up in the front. And looks like Latta, because of the spin that Fritz had on the outside there, cost himself a little bit of time just trying to have the check up. So he's off that front group just a bit. So we'll see if he's able to get that car back to the front group and back in that 5-car pack. and successfully being able to battle for more positions there, or if they're just going to kind of drop him here at this point.
So that's weird. Leonard out on track, but again, he did take the toe back. So we'll see what happens here with race control a little bit later on after the race. There's Leonard out there, a little worse for wear, but still able to get back going once again. So just get out there, run some laps. You're not going to really improve your position too much, especially if you had to take the compulsory tow back to the pits. Get this battle back here with Cross and Alex Reuter for 13th place, as Alex going to try his best to catch up to get around Cross and at least get one more spot. Alex Reuter is up one spot from his grid position. By the way, Lincoln Olsen up 15. I think, take a look at it. Yeah, that's the highest climber from the grid positions.
Yeah, Lincoln's having a good run and has managed to avoid the pitfalls along the way, and has got himself up there into P7. So he's at the front of that second pack. Or I'm sorry, just behind the front of that second pack now, with the leader being Shaib in P6. So he's done a really good job. And Cross and Reuter are just having their own little battle there, and for the time being, looks like they're content to just kind of run nose to tail. Maybe that'll allow them to make it up to that next group, which ends with Geidel. So they've got about 4 seconds of track time to make up, as we've got a nice big battle here. Oh, and there's a spin going down into Canada corner, and I couldn't tell who that was. That looks like Schmidt and Olsen. As we talk about them, we lay the proverbial commentator curse down, and there we go. So sorry about that, Lincoln, as we get a little spin and a little bump into Canada corner, and we're going to get a replay here and get a little bit better view of this.
All right. Yeah, it's just, I think Olsen's probably just ready to get out of here, because he's had nothing but bad luck as he takes the spin around, and he's going to play a visit to the gravel trap.
Yeah, not too bad. It's just got in there a little bit. Obviously, cost himself just a bunch of time, and it was he'd been helped. I will say it like that. Was helped into the gravel trap there, as I believe the 79 car of Shaib maybe broke a little bit earlier than the guys behind were expecting. Definitely the car behind Olsen, which was the Night King car, maybe the 15 car, Beydoun. But just a little contact there. Obviously, more racing. That just happens as cars check up going down in the corner, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Especially that's Canada corner, probably one of the harder braking zones there, as we see our car diving down into the corner. Turn 5 there, 15 car making move, and it looks like he's going to get crossed over there by Devereaux. So that's Beydoun and Devereaux battling in through turn 6.
That was actually a pretty textbook move out of Beydoun. Just a shame he could not hold on to it.
Yeah, nice move, and likewise a nice move by Devereaux to give him the old over/under. Crossed him up there as he ran wide, and now he's looking to do the same to her as she runs. As Devereaux runs a little wide, coming out of turn 8, and now the battle is truly on, as they're going to pick this pace up. And we're going to have the run down into Canada corner.
I think both these gents having a great race so far, with Devereaux in 7th and Beydoun in 8th. You're on board with Devereaux as he's trying his best to hold off Beydoun, Schmidt, and Shaib. A lot of fast cars right behind there. And Beydoun trying to look left, trying to look right. Devereaux's going to make him work the hard way around Canada corner, and Beydoun not going to be able to do that as Devereaux goes just a little bit wide. That's going to open that up for Beydoun. Beydoun gets the nose out front, going through Bill Mitchell Bend, turn number 13. Through 14 they come once again, and Beydoun has the line into 14, and he gets that spot over Devereaux. Now Schmidt is next in line to get up one spot, as Shaib is the last car in the top 10. Then Geidel might even have a shot at a top 10 himself.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look a bit further back, Cross and Reuter have kind of almost caught the back of this group. So now this group is getting, you see them back there in the background getting ever closer as this group is getting bigger and bigger. The more they battle, the bigger the group gets, and the spicier it's going to be as now 18 seconds off of the lead. So obviously that lead pack has done exactly what they were have set out to do. Keep growing that lead, giving themselves a chance to fight amongst themselves. They've even dropped Latta down 7 seconds. So Latta kind of in the bubble by himself as he's 7 seconds off the lead pack and 11 seconds off in front of the second pack. So great job is this lead group of being very, very patient and very consistent and just keeping the battles to a minimum as we're now down with 5.5 minutes left in this race. So probably 2 laps to go when we get back to the start-finish line. It's going to be very close there, but we'll check the numbers as we get around there. But looks like this is going to be a four-car battle for the win, as now we have Armbruster with a black flag symbolizing that he has hit the incident limit, so he'll have to come down and start the drive-through.
And that's a long penalty to come down and serve a drive-through here at Road America. There's the number 13, another driver who has not had good luck here tonight at Road America. Came up craps, and unfortunately, that's going to be the end of. He's going to be last car to lead lap. Let's just say that much. As Huda is trying to get back out and now is out of the race. As we have 20 cars, I should say, still running at this time. Mike Schmidt up to 8th place over Scheib and is now closing in on Ahmed Beydoun, but Beydoun's closing in on Fritz around Canada Corner. Oh, that's an interesting dive right there by Devereaux as he fell back a couple of spots. He tried to go to the inside of Scheib, and he's still side by side coming through turn number 13. But Scheib has the nose out front. He's going to get it. He's going to lose, and Cross is going to try and get it on this action with Devereaux, but thinks better of it.
Yeah, just didn't quite had a good opportunity. The door was open, could not quite sneak through there. So he's going to stay in his position as we see this Shea Devereaux looking down to the inside here at Canada Corner. Going to be very aggressive on entry, late on the brakes. You see him just dive down. Great dive there, just perfectly timed. Able to get the inside line there and able to just be patient and work his way, and just not quite enough to get that position. But that was a great opportunity. There was a spin behind. That is the Scheib in the 79 car going for a little half spin in the carousel, able to get the car collected and get back out on the track as we're still continuing the race here. And Guido now in P10. So this battle in this group is continuing to heat up, and now Scheib with the black flag also.
Armbruster comes in to answer the black flag as you're watching Geidel go around Cross and now set up for Devereaux. Now the drivers are really starting to get a little feisty here in the closing stages. I would say, yep, there we go. Alex Reuter into the wall as he gets tagged and falls back just a couple of spots. But Richard Scheib is hanging tough there as well. Still has that slack hanging over him, so he'll have to answer that call here in just a little bit as well.
Yeah, he's going to have to come down very quickly, because obviously if he's still hanging on that thing on the last lap, you cannot serve it at the end of the final lap. It's just going to be a time penalty added on, and I don't think he wants that. I think he would rather at least take his chances running down pit lane and serving that himself, and then trying to make up a little bit of ground before the end of the race. So it's just a tough break this late in the race to hit that incident limit. As we're on board here with Schmidt, this group now is broken up a little bit. We got a 4-car group: Schmidt, Cross, Geidel, and Olsen, running there from P9 to P12. A little bit further back is that next group headed off by Scheib with Reuter, Gibson, Gordonier, Salmon. There's another car off, and did not see the name of that. It's not Devereaux. Who is that? Who is that off the track there? Could not see that.
Not sure, but we are on the final lap with Ari Reuter crossing the line. This battle for 6th place really heating up. I should say 7th place between Fritz and Devereaux really heating up as they're side by side. And look at who Fritz has as a draft partner. Yeah, that's Schmidt sitting there with the draft partner, Scheib with the slowdown penalty, and now Schmidt is going to take that momentum and get around Fritz and take 7 spots so far. So we're side by side for position here, but how long will that last? Fritz going to take the deep dive into the inside and make his way around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we need to probably go back up to that front group as Goff is now back in the lead, and Murray and Reuter have now swapped positions. So Murray up to second as these cars up front are now 4 cars within 0.8 of a second. And that battle up front is really starting to heat up here on this last lap as we're sitting on board here with Fritz with the run down, getting Smith getting pushed by Devereaux there, coming down the straightaway, down into turn 5, and Smith getting to the inside. He's going to try and make that move around in the inside, and just a little wide there, pushes Fritz out to the grass and gets through there as now Scheib has got the slowdown, the black flag for incident points, and now we've got Baydoun leading this group here. Smith behind Fritz, Devereaux, and Cross. That is the second half of your top 10. And that's sure to change before this is over with, is now Goff getting a little bit of a gap over Murray, but they're coming down to the Canada corner, so it's about to be game on here very, very quickly.
It really is, as Reuter's going to try and go around the inside of Murray's, or side by side through Canada corner. They've reeled in Goff for the time being, but can they catch him? They've got one more opportunity to try and get onto Goff's rear bumper, but the gap may be too great as they work their way through 13. Reuter, Murray, and Moed, they best off just tuck in line, but I think it's going to be too little too late, as Moed's going to go to the inside of Murray. They're going to go side by side as the Goff goes wide. Wide, and Reuter's going to close in. It's going to be a side-by-side finish between Reuter and Goff for the win, as Goff's going to just tuck right back in. Checkered flag is out. Ari Reuter wins here at Road America with Ryan Goff and Chris Murray finishing off in 3rd place. Here comes the battle for 6th and 7th between Ahmed Baydoun and Sean Fritz. Baydoun goes just a little bit wide. He's going to shut the door on Fritz. Fritz going to do all he can to try and go around the inside as Olsen goes into the pits after having a black flag. They're leaning on each other as Fritz is going to get out there by a nose. Yes! That gap between Fritz and Baydoun, 0.01 seconds.
That's crazy. Yeah, and looking at my timing and scoring 0.006 as they cross the line. And it looks like Lincoln Olsen got a black flag on the final lap, so that's just terrible. That's the one time you don't want to get the black flag of any of them, as we get another battle there side by side. 0.2 of a second between friends. So we get to cross there, but those last lap black flags are just killers. So we now have Gordon there. Armbruster, Saka will be the next to cross the line, and does so, because it's a 40-second penalty, added on to your time. So it's going to drop Fritz even further. It's going to drop Olsen even further down the order. So the P12 is gone. Probably going to end him up somewhere around, P18-ish or something like that. But great battle up front, and just once again, you can't make a mistake, and you especially can't make a mistake in the last corner.
No, you really can't. And of course, take a look at the final results. Ari Reuter, your winner, with Ryan Goff, Chris Murray, and Andrew Mowat, as well as Brendan Lotta, round out your top 5. Look at the gap between 4th and 5th, just under 12 seconds. Sean Fritz, Ahmed Baydoun in 7th. 8th goes to Shea Devereaux. Then it's Chad Geidel. And rounding out your top 10 is Alex Reuter.
Yep. Rodney Gibson will finish in 11th in the 006. Tom Salmon, 12th. Corey Gardner finishing in 13th. Ethan Armbruster, 14th. Hayden Salka, 15th. Lincoln Olsen drops down to P16. Richard Shabe drops to 17th. Mike Smith to 18th. As we roll the page and get the rest of the results here, looks like it's going to be Abdul Huda Zane Cross finishing in 19th, Abdul Hood finishing in 20th, Drew Leonard finishing in 21st, David Grzinski 22nd, and Austin Jackson rounding out your 23 car finishing order.
Let's take a look and see who is standing by for an interview, and it is your winner, Ari Reuter. Man, I've got to say this. At the end there, we thought it was Ryan Goff, but you were able to sneak on by after he decided to go agricultural.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Ryan right now. That he ran such a great race. Like, we were working together so well, and I thought, oh man, I just got passed for third. I guess this is Ryan's. But yeah, I guess I'll take it where I can get it. No, that was a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, Road America and MX5s, absolutely a great combination. Talk us through your race, because once you guys were able to get away from most of the pack, the four of you decided to go out and have some fun.
Yeah, so I pretty much let Ryan by at the start, and my plan was just to work with him for the whole race, because we've had some good times working together in the past. I know he's good at bumping; he can take a bump, so it all worked out in the end. It was it went as planned. There was actually a voice chat message to kind of switch over about halfway through, see if I could do a little better. I actually didn't. I was making some slideways moments there, and he ended up pushing me up some hills. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. The pack racing is always a great time.
Well, it's a lot better result than what we saw last time out when we were here with the F4s at Road America. Anyone you want to thank?
Again, my family. Oh, and shout out to Alex. He got a top 10 tonight. And just all my sponsors in real life, everyone who keeps me into racing and supported. Oh, and also I should mention, our last name is pronounced Ryder. Our UI is like the Dutch vowel rule, so the I is long. So it's just think about saying Ryder, like WRITER.
That's
right, Charles. You get that? It's Ryder.
Yeah,
I got it.
Sorry, I should have corrected you guys way sooner. It's just
it's all good.
I keep forgetting. But anyway, and thank you guys for doing a great job. You guys do a great job in commentary. So
I appreciate it. Ari Ryder, your winner here tonight at Road America. And that actually is about ready to do it for us, because everybody else, I guess, is too tired. Charles, any final thoughts?
Yeah, great race. Just exactly what you expect from Road America. Draft battle up front, but also, once again, you heard him say you need a little bit of help, and finding a good partner on track to work with is always helpful, especially in a draft-heavy race. Can't wait to see what happens next week at VIR.
And SUPERLAP F4 and SRF is supported by the Detroit Region SCCA. This league would not be possible without the support of the DRSCCA. Log on to drscca.org for more info. My name is Jeremy Scott. Ahmet, thanks for the great pictures here at one of the best race courses in North America. Remember to keep it between the ditches, keep it point forward, and always keep it greasy side down. We'll see you at VIR next week here on Apex Racing TV.